All right, welcome to Behind the Sermon and More. Today is another exciting podcast. Here's why, man. We have one of my favorite people on here, Olivia Baumann. You want to know why you're one of my favorite people?
Yes.
Because I love your dad. Your dad is awesome. He is one of my favorite people. But now you're awesome too. Love your husband, Will. Will actually serves as one of our deacons, and he's just an awesome dude. Hope to have Will on the podcast sometime. He's got a pretty cool story.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, so he, my understanding, tell me if this is right, and we'll let Will tell the story, but all-time leading punter at NC State.
Yes.
Will and I have talked about that. He's like, Pastor Zeb, that's not such a good sign. Right?
Yeah.
That means I was punting a lot, right?
Yes, absolutely.
That's awesome. Well, Will's a great dude. Olivia has served on our staff for the last couple of years, so I hope that you'll get the opportunity to get to know her a little bit today, which will be awesome. We'll learn about your family in just a moment. I want to ask you all about that. And you started a new position recently.
Yes.
Yeah, we'll talk about that too. So excited. Before we get to all that, we've got really important questions we have to dig into.
Okay.
Are you ready for these?
Yes.
Are you sure?
Absolutely.
All right, cool. All right, let's start this way. I know you like to read.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. It doesn't have to be theological. It doesn't have to be Christian. Do you have like a favorite book? Let's go all time first, and then I want to ask you about what you've read most recently.
Okay. So I'm a beach reader. I love a good beach read.
Okay, what's that mean?
Like, life is hard as it is. I want a happy ending. So
Okay,
it has to have a
okay.
happy ending. My favorite book is probably Meant to Be by Emily Giffin. It's
Okay.
like a fictional book based off of if like JFK Jr. and Carolyn did not die. So like loosely based on their life.
Wow.
But like they're happily ever after.
Okay.
Yeah.
So would it be classified historical fiction?
No, because they're renamed and like parts
Okay.
of their story are different, but it's very like they probably could sue her. It's so close to their
Really?
story. Yeah.
Okay. That's awesome.
yeah.
That's cool. I haven't heard of that one. And I love compelling books like that. Man, I've heard along the way, like asking these questions to people, books I'm not familiar with at all. And I'll pick them up and like, whoa, I'm so glad. Like recently someone recommended one to me, and it's one of the most fascinating stories I've ever read in my life. And never even heard of this book. Would have never considered it. So I may check that out. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's really good. Emily Giffin.
Okay. Awesome. All right. What about most recent book that you read?
So I am reading a book. It's a Mary Kay Andrews book. So I really like her books. They're all like in the South. A love story, but a little bit of mystery.
Okay.
So I'm reading her newest one.
Okay. I was talking to Amy, Miss Amy Womble, who's also on our staff. We were talking about different things that we like to read, and we got to talking about movies and podcasts. And somewhere along the way, like mystery came up, and I just shared with her, like, I think for my wife, she's most intrigued by that, right? Like but she likes real life mysteries.
Yeah, no, I like a little mystery.
Yeah, not too much.
Like
Does it
somebody
scare
might-
you?
No,
Oh,
like
okay.
somebody might die, but it's not like gory. Like you miss the gory details. It's like Mary Kay Andrews. She has a lot of like somebody dies every book, but it's like they were murdered, but you don't really know all the details about it. You know?
Gotcha. Okay. So hey, Behind the Sermon and More is your favorite all-time podcast. We know that to
For
be
sure.
true, but aside from Behind the Sermon and More that dozens of people are listening to right now, do you have a favorite podcast? Do you listen to podcasts?
I do. I listen to a lot of podcasts.
Okay. How do you do that with two little ones? That's hard.
So that's how I clean on Fridays.
Okay, at home.
So
yeah.
I must say too, my reading is half reading, half audible.
That's
like,
counts. I think that
yeah.
counts as reading. Yeah.
So on Fridays, I always have my AirPods in, listening to a book or a podcast. I love the Bobby Cast, which is like Bobby Bones. He interviews like sometimes actually Christian people, like Stephen Chris Chapman's been on there. That was a really good one.
Is that Alabama? Is he in Alabama?
He's in Nashville.
Oh, Nashville. Okay.
So I really love the Bobby Cast. And then some of my friends, they have a podcast.
Okay.
They're some Christian influencer girls. They went to UGA. They were my students at camp. So I listened to their podcast as well.
That's cool.
Called Your Poodcast. And it's Beth
Say it one more time.
Poodcast.
Food?
Mm-hmm.
What does that mean?
I don't know.
Okay. Gotcha.
That's just how they say it.
Okay.
But they talk about Jesus on there. They are a
Nice.
little annoying. Like you would hate it, but
Yeah. But it would be good for people to listen to, right?
yeah, especially like teen girls.
Okay.
Their whole thing. They have a great following, and it's like body positivity, Jesus. It's okay to love Jesus in 2025.
Yeah.
But they're like super famous on TikTok. I don't have TikTok, so I don't know how that works.
Yeah,
But
yeah. I love pointing people to helpful podcasts, right? That depending on which stage of life you're in, that's just a gift. And you've had people on here that talk about like, hey, as a mom, here's a podcast that's been helpful to me. And I know I shared there's a podcast my friend does called Room for Nuance, and he brings people on that he doesn't necessarily agree with. There's nuanced things that they kind of talk through. And I think it's so fruitful for me. It's super beneficial because you're able to kind of get into the weeds on certain things, but then you quickly find a way to align, and it just helps in your Christian maturity. So that's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Very cool. All right. So do you have, I know you're a good cook. Do you have like an all-time favorite food, either that you prepare or someone else prepares for you?
I mean, I would say ice cream. I am
Okay.
an ice cream connoisseur.
Okay.
I'm very picky about my ice cream. But if it was like a food, probably, I really like Mexican food.
Do you really?
Mm-hmm.
What's your go-to dish at the Mexican restaurant?
Well, lately it's been ACP because I split it with my kids.
ACP, yeah.
But I also really like a taco salad, anything that's like Mexican.
Yeah, ACP is our go-to.
Yeah.
That's what my wife and I always get. Are this ACP? And actually, Zane, our oldest, that's what he orders now too. Yeah. It's just simple. We love it.
Yeah,
we love it. That's awesome. All right, cool. Well, I'm gonna ask you this. So, we talked about movies. Excuse me. We talked about books. We talked about podcasts. We've talked about food. But what about movies? Are you a movie watcher?
Yes. So I watch a lot of TV.
You do? Okay.
That's like probably my weakness is TV.
Okay.
But I do love movies. So my favorite movie is White Christmas with Bing Crosby.
Okay.
Like all-time favorite movie. If I'm depressed, I'm watching White Christmas.
Okay.
I cry every time. But I also love Sweet Home Alabama. That's my favorite.
Okay.
So,
now, are you the person that watches Christmas movies like starting October?
Well, no, I start because my birthday's in July, and Hallmark does Christmas in July, so I watch them the week of my birthday.
Oh, man.
I listen to Christmas music year-round. I get it from my dad.
You and Pastor Caleb was that way. When he was on staff with us, I remember he listened to Christmas music anytime he got the opportunity to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
I feel like there's I don't know. I feel like there's some merit to that, and it brings a certain like joy to your spirit, right? That's a good thing. But then like once Christmas gets here, and my take is like I'm kind of tired of it.
Oh no.
You just never wear out.
Yeah. I'm an early decorator. Like November 1st, I'm starting to decorate.
Yeah. All right. So we recently, my wife and I had the opportunity to stay in the mountains, right, overnight, and some of that was through the generosity of your family. So really grateful for your family. On the television while we were there, we saw this movie. I think it's probably made early 90s, late 80s, called Runaway Bride. Julia Roberts.
Yes.
It was so good.
Yeah.
I'd never seen it before.
I'm a rom-com junkie. Yeah.
Oh, so good. Yeah, that's awesome. Very cool. All right. I don't know if I know this about you. Do you drink coffee, right?
Yes.
Do you like coffee? How do you like to drink your coffee?
I drink almost exclusively cold brew.
Okay, what's that mean? I don't know what that means.
So it's the way it's like brewed. So it's like actually brewed cold. They don't like heat it up, but it is a lower acid, like has lower acidity. So that's why I drink it, because coffee makes my tummy hurt.
Wait a minute. Okay, so what's the difference? Is there a difference in that and then like iced coffee?
Yes.
What's the difference?
So like iced coffee is literally just coffee that they put in the refrigerator or add ice to. Yep. Okay. Cold brew, like you make it cold. So you ground it, add the water. It sits usually for 24 to 48 hours and steeps that way. So it's stronger. It has a higher caffeine concentration, but the lower acidity. So it like doesn't make your tummy hurt.
No idea.
So I drink.
That's amazing. I had no idea.
Like that's all I drink usually.
What do you put in it?
If it's at home, just like a splash of milk or oat milk. Like
how do y'all drink oat milk?
Oh, it's so good. It tastes like a cookie.
No cookie I won't eat. It's terrible. It's
but
the worst.
I don't put sugar in my coffee. I'm very anti-sugar, unless it's like a coffee shop.
Okay, anti-sugar for ice cream. I mean for coffee, but not ice cream.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. That's awesome. So that's great. Well, I'm gonna have to try cold brew, because I didn't realize the acidity thing. That's kind of neat.
Like I love Stoke. I make my own cold brew, but I love Stoke's cold brew. It's like a good one because it's you'll find it tastes less bitter.
Yeah.
Like the bitter is gone.
Yeah,
So I
yeah.
can drink cold brew black where I could not drink regular coffee black.
That's awesome. That's interesting. I'm gonna have to try that. Very cool. Well, hey, Olivia, thank you for being here. Thank you for being here. We're gonna get into your position here at ABC and how the Lord has used you in your time here. I'm excited to do that. Before we dive in, there's a lot of people listening to this that may not know you very well. So give us a little bit of a rundown about your family. Tell us about your family.
So I'm married to Will. We've been married 8 years, and we are college sweethearts.
Okay.
We have 2 kids, a son, Whitley Paul, who is 1, and a daughter, Millie, who is 4.
Yes.
And they are crazy, but I love them.
They are crazy. They're awesome kids. Awesome kids. And man, so I don't know exactly when this was, just off memory, but several months back we had your dad on the podcast. And man, just a really great time, great conversation with him. Your dad has served, correct me if I'm wrong, I think this is right. He just celebrated serving 40 years in the same church.
Yes. Yep.
That's crazy to me.
Yeah, he's been in ministry full time for almost 45, 46 years, somewhere around there.
Wow. That's so cool. So you got your dad, your mom is awesome.
Yes.
Your mom is just super sweet, super kind. And then you have a sister who is also in ministry.
Yes.
In Georgia.
Yep. She's a kids director at her church. Her husband is a surgeon in the Army, and so they live down in Southwest Georgia, Auburn, Alabama area.
Yeah. That's awesome. Very, very cool. So, man, you grew up in a well-churched environment.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Which you would be labeled as, especially with your dad being in the same church for 40 years, a PK.
Yes.
So for those of you that may not be familiar with that, it is preacher's kid. And this is how Olivia grew up.
Yeah. And I'm a second generation preacher.
Second generation.
Because my dad is also a preacher's kid.
That's right.
So we roll deep with the preachers.
You know, your dad, just to put a pin in what we're going to talk about being a PK, I want to hear like what life was like growing up as a PK, but let's put a pin in that for a second. Your dad shared something with me that has stuck with me. I think I'd asked him a question, something likened to like, man, if there's one person you can meet in history, like who would that be? What would you do? Something along those lines. We were building into that type of conversation. And he said, I would give everything I own and give it all away for 5 minutes with my dad.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So his dad, your granddaddy, who is a pastor, made a significant impact in your dad's life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And we lost him kind of suddenly. I mean, he was alive, but he had a debilitating stroke where he lost his brain function from that. And so I think that's what's been hard is like, it was very sudden.
Yeah.
And that was his best friend.
Yeah.
And so, like I didn't get to know him, unfortunately. He passed away when I was 5, but had a stroke almost on my first birthday.
Wow.
So he definitely had the biggest impact in our family's trajectory.
Well, similarly, it sounds like your dad has had a pretty significant impact on your life.
For sure.
So
for sure.
What was it like being a PK? Tell me about that.
Well, I think, now looking back at age 31, almost 32, I can say that being a preacher's kid was a dream. Like I loved it. There's obviously been hard times.
Sure.
I grew up in a small town, so a preacher's kid in a small town is a little different than like a preacher's kid in a big city.
Yeah.
Stereotypical. Everybody knows me. Everybody knows, I couldn't get into trouble. They'd call my dad. But I think him coming from a pastor's family too really shaped how he led as a dad. I can count on one hand the number of softball games he ever missed of mine.
Wow.
More with dance competitions because those happen on Sundays, but even if he missed a Sunday, he was there on Saturday.
Wow.
He showed up for us. He made our family a priority. We realized that a lot of times pastors' kids that have these wild streaks, their dads put their church above their families. And so that was something my dad really emphasized is my family comes first. The best way to be the best pastor for you is being the best dad I can be. And he said this my whole life, like I got one shot to be a dad. And so he was my class mom at school, if you will, because my mom worked a job where she couldn't do that. So he was the one that came to field trips.
Wow.
And but I think for me, some of the biggest benefits of being a pastor's kid is it taught me how to have conversations with people who were older. Growing up, some of my best friends were the senior adults at my dad's church.
Yeah, that's right.
I hung out with them all the time. I would go on like senior adult trips with them, and I just got to have opportunities and experiences that really shaped me. My dad's longtime secretary, Judy, she would pick me up from school a lot of days. Every afternoon we were at the church. My mom, she's a nurse, and so she, that's her ministry. You know, she's always had a job, which was really helpful for me and my sister to see that. My dad worked at a church, but my mom worked at a hospital, and they were both ministers. It's just looked different. And so we are super grateful for how we were raised. Our family is very close. Like, I talk to my mom and dad every day. I talk to my sister every day. That's not always normal, but I think being a pastor's family made us that way. Because there are times when it's lonely and it's hard. And so, like, my sister's my best friend. She's my rock. She's my person. She's the only one who understands what I walk through. My mom and dad do too, but, you know, like, we walk through the same things. And so I think our family bond is stronger because we're pastors' kids.
Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah, you hear so many, like, horror stories over PKs and that kind of thing, and to hear one like this is so refreshing, especially, like, as a pastor, right? Like, my kids are growing up. I'm like, man, this can end really well. And I've seen the closeness of your family, and it's genuine. It's genuine. I know your husband Will, like, and he considers, which he ought to, but he considers your family his family. And like, I mean, it's like they're so tight knit and so loving. One, for example, which I'm just really grateful for, and my wife's really grateful for this as well. I was tasked to preach homecoming at my first church that I'd ever pastored, and due to storms, my flight got canceled, and I had to be there. This was like the only way for me to get there. And I was thinking it was a late Saturday night. I was trying to get there because I'd spoken at a men's thing that day here at our church, and so just trying to make it all work. And as soon as you found out about it, you made a call to your dad. That was actually like a Wednesday night or something. But you had made a call, Sunday night?
It was Wednesday
night.
Yeah.
But you'd made a call to your dad, and you had worked it out to where I could drive to Greensboro, and your dad drove me to Charlotte Airport so that I could catch a flight and be there on time to preach. And there was just no questions asked about that.
Oh, yeah,
like,
for sure.
It was just like, sure, whatever we need to do, we'll make it happen. And y'all drove my truck back home and dropped. It's really kind. And your family's super special. So I appreciate you sharing that. I think that's awesome.
Yeah, I think my dad views, like, ministry as, like, we're all a big family. Like, you know, all the other pastors in his life are like brothers to him because, again, it's that a little bit of trauma bonding, but also just bonding of, like, this is the life you've chosen. And he knows that it can be lonely. And so with us, like, I think I even approach my job with, like, working here at the church and being your assistant the way his secretary was growing up. You know, I just want to make your family's life better, the church's life better, because I know it can be hard.
Absolutely. And you've done that. You've done that with excellence. My kids love you. They reach out to you on things, which is pretty cool. So I'm grateful for that. But that said, so let's just fill everybody in. So by the time this airs, you'll be functioning fully in your new position as communications director. We're gonna deal with that in just a moment. But for the last couple of years, you've served as my assistant.
Yes.
And that's been a true gift for me and for my family, as I mentioned just a moment ago. Even with my wife and my kids, you've been a big help with just making our life a little bit easier, and I'm really grateful for that. But from your perspective, what's it been like working as my assistant? What is that like?
I mean, it's been an adventure for sure.
That's like saying bad food is interesting.
No, it's been super fun. I, left a job of politics and traded in for church politics. But no, I have thoroughly enjoyed being on staff here and being your assistant. It is funny. Recently we had a question with a staff bonding thing that was like, what's a lesson you learned hard? For me, it was never say never, because I said I would never work on a church staff. My sister said the same thing, and here we are working full time.
That's awesome.
But I just remember when that whole process started and getting the call of like, hey, there's this job, would you want it? And I remember hearing myself say no, but the words coming out of my mouth were yes. And just through the whole, how I got here, how I got on staff, the Lord just was so kind and blessed me so well. And one thing I think, I used to share this when I led Discover Apex, is, at a church this size, I didn't know you very well. Sure. I didn't know your family. But getting to work under you directly has made me appreciate you as a pastor more, which has been super helpful. So I always like to share that with people. Yeah. With my dad, what you see is what you get, but that's not always the case with pastors. Yeah. Who pastors are on the stage don't always match who they are off the stage, but that's something that I have been pleasantly not surprised, because I didn't think otherwise. But I've been reassured that you're the same no matter where you are. And so that's been super helpful.
I appreciate
It's
that.
made me want to stay working for you. I've told people I've only taken this job as the comms director because I'm still working for you.
That's right. So, yeah. Well, that's super kind. And I appreciate you. And there's reciprocity there, sister. I mean that, like, it's been really great, like, having you on staff with us. And I know that it's been a journey, like stepping out of politics. And at that time, Millie still fairly new and adjusting to the mom life and mom rhythms and all the things. And having you step into this position has been really a gift for our church and for me as well. But we had this comms position come open. That's your background. That's what you studied at NC State, and have a real skill set there. And so we just kind of floated the idea. It was a long float, right? Like it was a whole process of trying to figure out if this is something that the Lord was leading you to and leading us to. But we all feel very, very confident, especially now where we sit, that without a doubt, like, the Lord has been in this. So, first of all, can you kind of tell us what a comms director is? Like, what is it that you do?
Yeah. So, at a church, any size, but especially our size, there's a lot that needs to be communicated, whether it's events or how to get plugged in, or even just what we believe. In the year of 2025, being just a Baptist church doesn't tell people what we believe. There's so many varying ways. And so the role of the communication person, communication director, is really to tell people who we are, what we're about, how to get involved, how to be a part of our family. And so my role is really to help both internal with people already at our church, but external, get to know who we are and why they would want to be a part and what we do and those different types of things. Yeah. So what our heartbeat is as a church.
Yeah. Well, I know that you're new. You're actually still helping me some, like, as we transition. But you've already done some really good work here, and I'm grateful. I think just last night we were talking about, just really, really grateful for some of the platforms that you've already injected some energy into. Not that they were poor before, but just this enhancement of, like, next level. We want our people to know what we're doing, how we're doing. We want to communicate really well verbally, in written form, but also with some of the aesthetics, the way that it looks. And I think it's just gone next level between your investment, Miss Jess's investment, a lot of Sean's leadership in the past with that. I mean, it's just taken our area of communications to the next level, and we anticipate that only growing. So really grateful for you to be in this position. I know that for most churches, regardless of size, like, communications is hard.
Yeah.
Like, I can remember being at my first church, and there were 13 people on the first Sunday. And by God's grace, we grew. But even in the early years when we were still very, very small, I remember feeling stinking whelmed with all the things that everyone was asking me to say from the pulpit that Sunday morning.
Yeah.
Like, tell them about this, and then we got this, and don't forget about that. And it's like, by the time I was done, I don't think I had much sermon time left. It was just, like, so much. So how do you, like, we're a larger church, how do you manage all the things that we have going on? Like, how do you keep our people informed on that?
Yeah, I think that is the $1 million question. Yeah. Especially as we are trying to keep, sermon or service times on track and not go over and things. The biggest way for people to know what is going on is through life groups. I think a lot of our communication comes through that, right? The more you get involved, the more you're going to feel like you're connected. And so we use our life groups in that time to tell them a lot about what's going on, right? That's how we do the, like, projects at Christmas with the Salem Middle School families. Like, a lot of what we do is through those life groups, just because that's an easier group to disseminate information towards. Sure. Our app is also super helpful. One thing that, like, I am passionately working towards is that we have direct internal communication channels so that some of our other things can be external. So the app is really important. That logs you into CCB, which is, like, our platform. But that's where you find out, like, events and things have changed and stuff like that. working towards moving our website and social media to really be a place where people can find Jesus. One passion point of mine, especially through living in church life my whole life, right, is like here in the South, especially the Bible area, we're really good at moving disgruntled church people across churches. We're not as good at making new believers for Jesus Christ. And so I love church growth when you see people getting baptized, you see people being discipled, you see people coming from backgrounds that don't know Jesus, not just the Baptist church down the road that
Transfer
they don't like.
growth.
Or even from another denomination.
Sure.
And so like using channels like our website and our Instagram and our YouTube and things like that for people to find Jesus. I think right now we're seeing this huge trend of these like giant revivals, right? You see these people who are atheists or living these alternative lifestyles finding Jesus because they're looking for something. And so we need to capitalize on that by using what we're already doing, not reinventing the wheel, but like reaching those people the best way we can. So like our YouTube, like making sure we're talking about Jesus in a way that people who aren't looking for that find him. So when you preach about anxiety, posting about that, because that's something people are Googling constantly, is like, how do I become less anxious? How do I grow relationships with my family? How do I be a good mom? Like those are things that people are looking for, and they don't know that Jesus can help them through a lot of those things. So using our channels of the newsletter, the app, life groups, Sunday mornings, even to an extent, to be for our internal people so that those external conversations can happen on our website.
That's so good.
Those places.
I love that. And that just aligns with who we are, right? Like it keeps the vision in front of us. We have this mission to fulfill the Great Commission and to do it, through the Great Commandment, loving God and loving people. And I love the way that you frame that. Like it's all very purposeful and it's leading towards something, which I think is amazing. So, man, I hear your passion. I love to hear your excitement as you talk about this. What are you most excited about when you think about this communications role?
I loved my time at NC State learning about all the communication channels, learning about how people communicate. I feel like every job I've had, even in undergrad but post-grad, has led to this of they've all kind of intertwined, whether it was like me working at a church camp or interning at ESPN, like those different things have all led to be able to do this job well. And so I love being able to use a background, using a creative side of my brain, and challenging myself. And so I'm just really excited to just sit in the role for a while, make it my own. Like Jess did an amazing job. I can't be Jess.
Sure.
I think I said that even when I was hired for the assistant job. Like if you're looking for the same person, that's not me.
Sure.
I'm much more mean and unhinged. But I am just excited to be able to share Jesus with people, share who Apex Baptist is. We are a church that does love people. And so I want, no matter what somebody looks like, where they come from, to feel like they can be loved here. And that there is a place for them and how to find that place.
Come on. Yeah, that's so good. That's so good. Well, I love that. And I mean, I'm really excited that you're in this position. And like I said, just building blocks, right? Like taking what we have and just continuing to push it down the road closer towards fulfilling the vision, mission that God has given us. Is really cool. And it's awesome to be who you are too, right? Like you said, you're not who the last person was in terms of personality and other things, but that's a good thing. I think the diversity of gifts that we have within the body of Christ is a gift. It's a gift because the Lord, in His own timing, He uses certain personalities to accomplish certain things in a certain time frame, and for such a time as this, that He has you in this position. And I'm grateful how the Lord's already using you, and in an anticipatory way, I'm excited about how He's going to use you in this role. So thank you for being here.
Of course.
Anything that you didn't say that you wish you would have?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah.
Well, Olivia, thank you for being on Behind the Sermon and More. If you're listening to this and maybe you have some questions about communication, or you just want to get plugged in somehow, some way, feel free to reach out. What's the best way for them to contact us and to find out information about our church?
Yeah, apexbaptist.org. It has all of our staff and our emails on there. You can always email me. I love to plug people in. So sometimes I get all the contact requests from the website and I pass them off to whoever they go to. So apexbaptist.org is easiest.
Very cool. Well, hey, thank you for listening to this. Our prayer is that this has been fruitful for you somehow, some way. I pray that the Lord is kind to you this week. You experience that in a very real and tangible way. We love you. God bless you. Have a great week.